Alright, we're doing a floor video.
Behind closed doors, I'm a fool for your love.
I am here in cold and snowy Calgary, Alberta. Actually, I'm gonna roll while I do this. I'm still out of breath from the gym, sorry. I am definitely feeling the effects of being very burnt out right now. I have been so focused on building my own business, and in building my own business, I have taken several courses. Studying in itself has been a pretty significant job, and on top of that, I have the business stuff, which includes social media, and I'm not even managing my personal Instagram properly, or up to my own standards and what I want to see happen to it. So that's been on my mind a lot lately. And on top of all that, I've hired a business coach. It's been tough. It's been tough overall. I am not telling you this so I can gripe on the internet. That's the last thing I want to do ever. But I am telling you this because if you've ever gone through a challenging time like I am right now, you'll know the importance of having to recognize the signs of burnout in yourself before it gets so excruciating and you're so done that you can't really come back from it. So many people burn out and it takes them months and months and months, and you don't want to be that person. You don't want to be there. So that's really why I wanted to make this video, because as awkward and as out of breath as this is, I think that it's an important conversation to be had, because we're all, we're all faced with busy and stressful and challenging times at any point in our lives. Like, they just happen. It's life. It's unavoidable. You can't work around that, or you could like live in someone's basement and not do anything with your life, and then it may be not hectic. But I don't think anybody really wants that. In order to prevent burnout yourself, it's so important to learn how to take care of yourself, and preferably on a consistent basis so you don't even get burnt out. But it's important to learn how to treat yourself if it starts to happen too. Exercise, for one, helps me immensely, and I can't even tell you how much. It's my happy place. It makes my body feel better. It makes my mind feel better. I get to blow off some steam. And I'm not talking just the gym, you know me. I'm talking everything, like move your body and go for a run, go for a bike ride, go for a skateboard, go for a rollerblade, whatever, you get my drift. Like, lift weights if that's what makes you feel good. Do sit-ups in your living room. Do sit-ups on the hotel room floor. Like, it's all good, just get moving. Meditation is another one that really helps me a lot. And I'm a well-practiced meditator. I know that it's not gonna come that easy to some people because it's weird kind of like sitting on your own and just breathing. But I do love to meditate, and it helps a ton with stress, and it just allows me to go inside where it's quiet and disconnect from the world around me so I can just unplug from that chaos. Another thing that helps me a ton is eating right, and this was something that I didn't figure out until I started to get into my own nutrition coaching journey as a coach. Just the degree to which my own nutrition affects my energy levels, my mental state, and my ability to actually get through a challenge on a day-to-day basis and get up, get out of bed, get moving and do what needs to be done, and without fatiguing like halfway through the morning or the afternoon, and then on the other end of that day, actually get the rest that I need because it's peaceful and my body's not fighting the food that I'm putting into it. Those three things are immense. Another thing that I really love is if something is really stressing me out and I feel like a significant emotional when things are really stressing me out and I feel a real significant emotional charge around it, is tapping. I've talked about it before, I think it was in my anxiety video, but it really helps to blow out the neural pathways that are creating stress patterns, I guess you could say. So if you are really angry about a situation and every time you think about it, you're just really super angry, what you can do is go through the tapping technique on different acupressure points. that will help to release that negative energy. To give you one example, I had arrived at work one day and just found out that somebody had passed away. And I was borderline tears, and I knew that if I walked in there and someone asked me if I was okay, I would definitely not be okay, and I would lose all my composure. I did, I think, 2 or 3 rounds of tapping. It was like a desperate last attempt, and it felt like I had been crying for days. Like I felt this emotional, just huge release, and I got through enough of the day until somebody realized what was going on and told me to go home, which was the smarter decision. Clearly in the beginning I should have known that, but I didn't. So that's just one case in which it's really worked for me, and I know it works for a lot of people. So if you would like me to do a video on how I use tapping personally in my own life, then I'd be more than happy to do that for you. And this one can seem a little counterintuitive, but I am realizing more and more the importance of actually unplugging. And that means unplugging and not thinking, not moving my body, just like thoroughly checking out. And if my husband ever watches this, he's gonna laugh at me, because he has been trying for 10 years to get me to slow down and to actually relax and to check out and just let myself be. It is not my forte. I will work until I drop, and that does not always work in my favor. What I am finding now, like, one of my favorite things to do is read. And when I read, it's usually nonfiction. It's usually something that is like feeding my brain all this information. And you know what? There's a time for that. Great. Maybe the majority of time I read, it can be books like that. But if I'm trying to wind down, if I'm really stressed out and I'm trying to relax at night before bed, you know what? A little fiction never hurt anybody. Unless it's like a horror book, if you're sensitive to Stephen King's or something like that, like don't read them before bed. But yeah, fiction, soap operas on TV. Just, it doesn't always have to be documentaries and nonfiction. And that's something that I've really had to, I've only come to realize in like the last year or so of my life, because I have been so driven that I'd keep going. I would keep, like, okay, I would take books on quantum physics to bed, and that's just, it's too much thinking. You have to unplug once in a while. So that's another thing that I've recently come to realize is absolutely integral to keeping your stress level down and avoiding burnout. And my last piece of advice is probably to actually make the effort to take the time out of your day, even when you're busy and you really don't feel like it, to do things like this. And that's not why I grabbed this roller right now. I grabbed it because my butt hurts. But yeah, you know, working out, great. Make time to work out. I can't recommend that highly enough. But making time for the little things can be more difficult sometimes, because, you know, you're done your workout, you check that off the list, and you say, okay, well, I don't have time to stretch. I don't feel like taking the time to calm down and to stretch or foam roll or something like that, you know. It is so easy to sweep your own self-care under the rug and say, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it next week, I'll do it when all of this busyness is over. And it will never really be over. Like I've always said, life's a roller coaster. You're gonna have times of busyness and times where it's slower, but you know, it's never really over. And if you make the habits now to actually do 5 or 10 minutes of self-care, pick a few things that work for you and take the time out of your day to actually do it and make it a routine. That's going to go so far in keeping your head level and your focus straight, and so you actually want to wake up in the morning and you don't just feel exhausted all the time, because it's a nasty place to be. And you don't want to, like, yeah, if you get into that place once in a while, A, these tips can help you pull out of that, but B, you know, don't go to that place. Don't go to that extreme unless you absolutely need to. And I'm not saying don't work that hard, but sometimes you can absolutely love the process and you can feel high off of it, and you got momentum and you got creativity, and everything is just like you're soaking up the challenge and you're just eating it for breakfast. And that's great. But if you start regularly getting up in the morning and groaning about what you have to do, or just not seeing that light at the end of the tunnel, and you're not getting that rush from it, then you might want to start looking at a little bit more self-care and adding that to your routine than you're doing right now. So I just wanted to share that because I'm feeling pretty crispy around the edges right now. You know, these don't have to work for everyone. Obviously, no one thing works for everybody. Pick what works for you. If something makes you feel a little bit more better, if something makes you feel a little bit better in your life and about what you have to do, if it helps you de-stress a tiny bit, like walk your dog around the block. Instead of meditating, maybe listen to your favorite song and just take that time out. Take some time for you, because you are still really important in any process, because this is your life. And regardless of what you're busy with and what you're consumed by at the moment, this is still your life, and you are the only one that's going to take care of you, because nobody else has as much interest in you as you do. And it's up to you when it comes down to it to look after yourself, because nobody else is responsible for that but you. I hope this helps. And if, once again, if you want me to make that tapping video, I'd be more than happy to do that for you. Whatever has got you stressed right now, don't worry about it. This too shall pass. Talk to you soon.